Hello once again, Star Wars and Unboxing fans. Welcome to another episode of Darth Tuba's Star Wars Unboxing Show. I'm your host, Darth Tuba. Okay, so what we have here today is the result of the May the 4th exclusives and things that were being sold on the Shop Disney site. Now, those who know me know that I am a huge Disney fan. I have been going to the parks almost yearly. In fact, recently, as many times as 2 or 3, 4 times a year. For the past, on and off, since, well, I would say consistently since about 2002. So what is that, 18 years? Okay, so that's pretty good. And then before that, I went a lot of times too. I'm also a band director, for those who know that, and I've taken my bands and orchestras to perform there quite a few times. I think we're up to our 5th or 6th even performance trip, collectively in my career. And I do that, and I am a DVC member and an annual pass holder, and I have a Disney Visa card, and I do all these things for one very simple reason. I am very loyal to the brand, okay? I am loyal to the brand of Disney because I do believe that for the vast majority of the time, we as consumers get more than our money's worth when we do things with Disney, whether it's buy product, go to their parks, see their movies, go on their cruise line, fill in the blank, okay? Having said that, okay, there are times when things tend to fall short, and I will not be, although I'm not someone to rant about it, I will not be one to not be critical simply because it's the Disney brand. And this was one of those times. On May the 4th, at 7 a.m., they were launching a bunch of exclusives. And some of these exclusives included things like a key, a special Disney Star Wars key, which is fine, but also were 3 mugs that were Starbucks related. Like, they're like Starbucks mugs. But you know how Starbucks has all of their communities, you can get a mug it's like Hard Rock. You can get a mug that says Seattle, and a mug that says New York, and a mug that says Hollywood Studios or Epcot or any of the places in the parks. Well, they had one for Hoth, they had one for Dagobah, and they had one for Bespin, I think. Okay? I really wanted the mugs. So I went on at 7 a.m., well, 10 a.m. Eastern time. I was there, I was on there, I was clicking to order the mugs. It took no less than 5 hours for me to get my whole transaction done. I did get the mugs to be put inside the cart. And then I got the little circle that you get in the middle of your screen that they're working. 5 hours. 5 it took. And guess what happened at the end of those 5 hours? Oh, we're no longer in stock with those mugs. Okay, so I can understand, from people from what I've read, there were a lot of people that are not happy with the Shop Disney site. They say that the whole web design is not good. They say that the whole way you maneuver through the web pages is not good. There are far better ways to do it. So I understood that. I said, okay. Hopefully Disney's generally pretty good at, realizing when they're not doing something well, and they try to improve it. We are in the middle of a pandemic, which meant that there's a lot more people ordering online than what they normally expect. So that was something else to take into consideration as well. What I have a problem with was one simple thing that they don't have to do, and I don't know why they did it. And that is that they've set a thing on there for each of those mugs, limit 10 per customer. 10. Now, I don't know about you, but I probably have too many mugs as it is, so I'm not that upset that I couldn't get the mugs. But why when anybody want to buy 10? 2, maybe one for yourself and one to gift to a friend or, spouse or something. But 10? The only reason you're buying 10 is to sell 9 or 10 of them, okay? And I feel like that is not what Disney should be promoting. So Disney, if anybody is listening, and I'm sure you've heard this already, please, please, please limit everything that you buy in the stores to 2. At the very least, make someone have to go into the queue again and again and again. If they want to buy something 10 times, they'll have to go in the queue 5 times. All right? Something to consider. But having said that, I was successful in 3 items that I purchased. And again, I normally wasn't going to do anything during the that pandemic, I was going to hold off on ordering online. And for the most part, I've done that. I've done some pre-orders from a long time ago that are coming in the mail, and some stuff that I know isn't going to be coming in the mail until next year on the higher end. But this was one day, and I wanted to make sure that if I could get them and I waited 5 hours, at least I could get these items. So the first two are these. We have 2 pins. And I was thinking about it, like, I'm not really, I love Disney pins. I'm not a huge collector of Disney pins, but I realized I don't have a lot of Star Wars pins. And it occurred to me that May the 4th is such a great day to, especially as a teacher when I'm normally in a class with students, to be able to wear a pin that says May the 4th. I mean, we never have pins that say that. So I said, I got to get a couple of those. So I picked up the 2. There was a couple of designs. I like these 2. There was one with the Stormtroopers, the classic original trilogy Stormtroopers right here. Okay. And pardon me, I knocked over the child. And the other one is a nice one with Yoda, kind of like a Clone Wars era Yoda, May the 4th. So some good ones. I'll make sure that they end up here so you can get a little bit closer shot of them. And, they're just kind of nice, and I'll put them on my pin thing upstairs, or where I can grab them on the way out. And even on not May the 4th, if I just feel like having a Star Wars pin, I'll do that. So that was really nice. And then this is the other item, and I was kind of excited about this because this is kind of a throwback to a few years ago, something that Disney shops had. I like that they only had it in tissue. And it's so funny that last week we opened up the Black Series Probe Droid because this is another Probe Droid, and it's the Elite Series Probe Droid. Now, the Elite Series is a series of figures that came out through the Disney shops and the Disney parks. And it started around the time of the Force Awakens, so around 2014, 2015. And it lasted all the way through. It did not really make it through to The Rise of Skywalker. There was definitely figures available for Force Awakens and some original trilogy characters. There was Rogue One, and there was Last Jedi, I believe. But I think that's where it ended, okay? They didn't really continue it after that. So to see an Elite Series Probe Droid was kind of unique. Now, one of the things you should know about these is that they are a metallic figure. They're made of metal, and the figures are extremely heavy, okay? They're because every part of them are made of a metal. Now, having been made of metal and then being so heavy, one issue that I've said on previous episodes is that they have a hard time holding their own weight. So a lot of my figures, particularly figures with smaller feet, tend to, they have ankle articulation, so they tend to bend over on their own ankles and fall. Okay, they came with stands, but the stands really weren't that great. But nonetheless, I was able to manage to collect most, if not all, of the Elite Series. I think there are a couple of things, I saw in Disney World a few months ago when I was there that there was some droids, like Power Droid and a few other droids. I think I picked up a few of those. Beyond that, there really wasn't more. The only other thing that Elite Series did do, and I had this on a previous episode, was they had some, they weren't 12-inch figures. I would say they were like 10-inch, maybe 10 or 11-inch, and they were not metal. They were just standard, like G.I. Joe style or Barbie style doll figure kind of things. And they were really good too. They did a lot of them for Rogue One and around that time, so a year after Force Awakens. So we have the Elite Series Imperial Probe Droid. I've been on an Imperial Probe Droid kick. My guess is that they were going to release this at some point earlier, and then when they were going to cancel it when it became evident that the Elite Series was not as popular. And lo and behold, somebody got the idea, well, we have this Empire Strikes Back thing coming out, 40th anniversary. Maybe it's important for us to do something. And that's what they did. They released this. So, and it was funny. I could already tell when it came in the mail. I just picked up the package and realized how heavy it was. And I was like, well, unless I ordered a book in a weird shape, this must be the Probe Droid. So I said, it is a little, my only complaint about it, as I said, was the fact that they were a little hard to, any more? All right, there we go. They were a little bit challenging to keep standing. Now this one seems a little different because it does have a like a built-in stand, kind of like the Black Series one from last week had. If you haven't seen that, check it out. It was ooh, wow, this one comes with antennas, separate antennas. All right. Whoa. Okay, now it is metal, and being that it's metal, it has a lot of. You could have kept. It has a lot of heavy parts. You could have. It was like I'm going to be doing surgery on this. Excuse me. I'll get some close-ups of it so you can. You know, I tend to like to remove the plastic as much as I can because it's just too bulky, you know, and it's just nice to be able to kind of piece away at it. There we go. All right, now we're down to just the. Oh, did I? Whoops! I almost forgot about this little part. Yeah, his two little antennae. All right, so what do we got here? We got, okay, so he's got some twist ties, and again, I wouldn't say they're the most craziest twist tie. They're just a little bit bulky, which makes them a little bit, and it's like a double twist tie, so you gotta be careful. But this thing is very top heavy, so I'm wondering if it's even gonna stand up with the stand. Kind of like that Disney had some original, you know, exclusive items to their parks, as opposed to just always selling. Like the last time I was there, it didn't look like they had hardly any Elite Series. All they had was, you know, they were selling Black Series and things like that, which is fine. You know, I have no problem with that. And I will say, in the previous episodes, I said how it's a challenge to pick up Star Wars product in the stores. Well, not so in Disney. No, Disney has a load of. And I'm talking about the stuff that, you know, that's available elsewhere. They had no shortage of, like, you know, toys from Rise of Skywalker and things like that. So I have no issue with that. All right, so this guy is just trying to make sure I don't break anything. Sometimes basically it's metal, but there are pieces of plastic on here, so I just got to be careful. All right, before I get to that, let me just see what else I got here. I got my little, this dude. It's so funny. Like, it's only been like a year since or about a year, and I was like missing it. I was missing it until I have to sit here and do it. Then I'm like, ugh. And I'm just really hoping that when the time comes that I do, when it's, are you serious? I'm hoping that when the time comes that I do have to. Moment of truth, people. As I say, I'm hoping that the time comes when I do have to put this on its base. Nice. All right. That is good news. Okay. Now I'm wishing that all the Elite Series came with. See, I'm going to say this. Like last week, as I said, if you look at last week's episode, you'll see that I did a Black Series, probe droid that came in the mail from Target, and it's a beautiful piece too. But I almost think that this probe droid is more in line with the. Got to get his antennas straight there. That this probe droid is more in line with the. There we go. Get that in there. Good. That this is more in line in the size comparison with Black Series figures. It just feels like it aligns itself more. Okay, so it comes with its alternate thing. I was going to say before, like, it's mostly metal. Like, the bulk of it is metal, but anything that's kind of more moving parts, like these little limbs on the bottom, are plastic. And there's some plastic pieces that are kind of molded on here. So you got to be careful with that, because it's very easy for these plastic pieces, if you bump it or it falls or whatever, that they're going to come off, and then you got to be careful with that. So it's a beautiful piece, guys. Really neat. And I got our pins. I'm sorry, and I stand by my criticism. I stand by my criticism that they should not be selling items 10 at a time. Okay, I feel like that is something that it's just inviting scalpers and people who are trying to make a business reselling product that, all right, I understand if people resell, you want to buy 2 items and sell those 2 items, fine. You want to buy 10 items and get in line 10 times or 5 times to get 2 each time, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that, because at least then other people had the opportunity. And that's the biggest thing that's a problem. And I know that this kind of thing happens everywhere. I mean, if anybody's ever been to a Star Wars celebration, you will know that there's a store and there's generally 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 figures, or exclusive pins, exclusive this, exclusive that. And there are people that will wait. I had to wait 3 hours once to get into a store. 3 hours. I've never waited 3 hours for anything. Okay, so to wait 3 hours to get into a store is like unheard of. But then you get in there, and yeah, I will tell you, I bought a bunch of, remember, Celebration 3, and I bought a bunch of Vader figures, okay? But I'm going to tell you 2 things. Everybody, number 1, every single person who wanted a Vader figure that trip, if they waited for like an hour, 2 or 3 hours, they got the figure, okay? They didn't even sell out, okay? So it wasn't really a scarce thing, and I knew that. And 2, when I did sell some of them on eBay, but guess what? I put them out. I didn't sell them to make a profit. I sold them to give people an opportunity to, I sold them to give people who weren't a chance to get to Celebration an opportunity to have the exclusive figure. I sold them at a loss because I had to pay for shipping. So in a way, I was just doing, and I'm not trying to make myself to be a martyr or anything. I'm not. I just said, that was one time I did that, and those were 2 very important things. I wasn't selling it as a part of a business. Now, granted, there are people that make a living selling, buying toys and selling them on the secondary market. I get that. But this wasn't a toy. What happened here, I got the toy. This is about a mug. And I just feel like, and I know people collect the mugs. They're nice and small. Like, people collect everything. They collect spoons. They collect stamps. Why not mugs? And these are Starbucks mugs, so they all have the same shape and the same kind of art design. So I get it. And if you're a Star Wars fan and a Starbucks fan, it makes sense to have them. So I understand that. I hope that Starbucks/Disney will consider making more, like a second run of them, particularly this year because of the whole COVID-19. I think that if these were being sold in the stores, they probably would end up having more. Maybe they still do. I mean, Disney Springs is opening next week, so and I believe it's like third-party stores, and then I think the next week, what I've been hearing is that the rest of Disney Spring will be opening like May 27th. I don't know how true that is, but I've been hearing that through multiple sources. And then who knows about the rest of the hotels and the theme parks. But it's my hope that they will be opening up, because I think some of that product is there. It's sitting in their stock, getting ready to be put out in the Starbucks locations, among other places in Disney parks. So hopefully then that'll happen, and that whatever Shop Disney was sold out on, they were just sold out for the stuff that they were planning on having online versus all the stuff that was going to be in stock. We shall see. But this toy, really cool. I'm really glad they brought back the Elite Series for 1 figure, if nothing else. I doubt they're going to do more, but it was nice that they brought it back for this one. And because I didn't have a problem getting it, I have a feeling it's not going to sell out. So who knows? But you might, if you like it, you might be able to get a chance to pick it up. The pins are great, and if you look through Disney and other secondary places, you might find a lot of cool Star Wars related pins that Disney puts out, and they're really awesome. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification button. Smash the thumbs up. The more thumbs up, the more likes, the more people talk about the channel, the more chances it has of being placed in a more visible area so more people can see it. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, may the Force be with you.